faced obstacles when he was on his beast, not able to pass over the debris, which caused him to approach his assessment in a different manner, by walking over his debris or turning another way. Yeah. But his obstacle led him up. Sometimes we complain about what we're going through when God only wants to take us higher. So enjoy the ride. God not only took Jeremiah up, but he took him by a brook, a quiet place, a place where only Jesus can supply. Here Nehemiah was able to view the walls and see what God had purposed in his heart, the big picture, focusing on the inside as well as the outside. Afterwards, just as our pastor Aperture does every Sunday, in our ear, the vision that God has purposed in his heart. Likewise, Nehemiah went to his people to give them the vision of rebuilding Jerusalem. In response, the people strengthened their hands to do a good work. The people came together in numbers, on one accord, and in unity. They cleaned the debris, the garbage, and the rubbish. They hung the doors and fixed the locks. And then when it was all done, they sanctified the gates, bringing it back to its natural use. God called the people of Israel to rebuild the walls and the gates of the city. But God calls us to build his kingdom. The difference in rebuilding the city and building a kingdom is that when you start in a city, you start with physical acts for a spiritual response. But when you build a kingdom, you start with spiritual acts to bring about a physical response. Nehemiah built a city that will be so that it will not bring no reproach, no accusation, no criticism towards Jerusalem. But we build a kingdom by not causing reproach, accusation, criticism between one another. We do that by strengthening our hands, strengthen ourselves with love. For God said that they shall know that you are my people by your love. For love brings joy. Allowing joy to manifest in the life gives us strength to go through the tests and tribulations. It was so important for God to know that for us to stay in. It was so important to God for us to stay in exceeding gladness. That he said that he instructed us to leap for joy. Joy supports long suffering. Knowing patience increases our faith. Giving fuel to our self-control. Where we can operate in goodness, kindness, gentleness. If we strengthen our hands in the fruit of the Spirit, we can sanctify ourselves. And sanctify ourselves, we become a living sacrifice for God. And when becoming a living sacrifice for God, he put us aside for the master use. You know, the kingdom building is just as easy as doing your weekly laundry. It all starts with separation. You know, when we do our laundry, we separate ourselves. That's where it starts with when God separate us from the world. He said, be in the world, but not of it. And then there comes a time that we have to wash. That we have to go through the washing machine. The blood of Jesus. Jesus washes. He washed out hatred in us through his blood. He washed out envy through his blood. He washed out wrath through his blood. He washed out strife through his blood. He washed out tribulation through his blood. He washed out murder through his blood. He washed out fornication through his blood. He washed out adultery through his blood. He washed out lying through his blood. He washed out gossiping through his blood. He washed out everything that's not like Christ through his blood. That causes us have no excuse. Because we've been washed. We've been cleansed in the blood. That where we come out white as snow. Where they, in old days they used to hang you on the line so that the sun would bleach the detergent. But the thing of it is, what I'm so glad about when he washed us, he threw us into the lake of forgiveness. And he wouldn't and our joy. It comes a time that he has to polish up our armor, our salvation, our righteousness, our preparation of the gospel. It comes a time that we got to hold up our shield of faith, even when we don't want to. God said, when you don't want to stand, stand anyhow. Because God will see you through. He's preparing you for your purpose. He's preparing you for your promise. Because I'm here to tell you, whatever you're going through, God will see you through it. I'm a witness. I'm not talking about what I read. I'm not talking about what I heard. I'm talking about what I lived. I'm talking about what God brought me through. He'll see you through. And then once he sanctifies you, then he'll put you aside. Like a master use. And then you'll sit here and wait. Sit here and wait for God to use you. And while you're waiting, you'll ponder on things that are pure. You'll ponder on things that are good. You'll ponder on things that is righteous. You'll ponder on good report. And the word of God said there's any virtue in you. Think on these things. There's any integrity on you. Think on these things. So then you can take that telephone and turn it back to a sanctified telephone. When you can call people and encourage you can call the people and pray for them. You ain't got to know what's wrong with them. Just pray for them. That's what God wants you wanting tonight. So while we sitting here waiting on the Lord, doing what we can, waiting for our pastor and his vision. But see, we don't have to sit and wait in God's tabernacle faith. Because God gave us a pastor with a vision. When it's time for us to get up and work. It's time for us to get out of the boat. It's time for us to stop being on our do-nothing and build up God's kingdom. That's what he's looking for. That's what he wants for us. He wants us to build up his kingdom. And it's called work. Nehemiah was able to rebuild the city because of people